It would be the exact same if I'm casting next right now. People would be like, where is the World Team League? And then I would just have to answer that question. So, again, if you guys can help me save my sanity a little bit, and when someone else asks, just type exclamation mark next in the chat to give them the command, then to let them read about what the situation is, that would be really appreciated, because if I have to repeat myself 20 times about next today, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm not going to have a fun time casting. So, please help me out by spamming the command whenever possible, or whenever someone asks about it. And I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Alright, so let's kick off into this and get this ready to go as Maru and Armani kickstart the World Team League action today. As we get this up and running. So just going to be setting up with this TvZ, and Maru, of course, in fantastic shape. I would be shocked if he dropped a map here. As he gets set up and rolling. And just waiting to see what Maru brings to the table. I really do think that Maru is likely going to be putting some fun stuff out as the game goes on. Sorry, I'm just fixing a command in the chat quickly. Alright, apologies, just wanted to get that sorted out. Yeah, Maru's in amazing condition. I'd honestly be shocked if he dropped a map. There's been a time when Armani's taken a map off Maru and caused a little bit of an upset, but it really is a rarity. Absolutely just expecting Maru to be the heavy favorite here, get Team NV off to a 2-0 lead. And just going from there, so I imagine that's going to be kind of the expectations of Team NV as well, and that's probably why they put out Creator second. They're probably feeling pretty confident today that Maru is going to be able to pick up a couple maps in between Bunny and Creator. They'll just get the job done. It's an important series. I like giving Creator some chances every now and then. Yeah, going to be a fun match, of course, again. Team NV, they are trailing the top dogs. They're in the kind of the second cluster of teams. So basically the way that it sets up is that you got Shopify Rebellion up in first place, undefeated, 20 points. Kaizi Gaming second place, 17. Then Team NV, 15 points, and Dragon Phoenix Gaming, 14 points. So that little cluster of teams trailing the Shopify Rebellion within a match of each other. It's going to be interesting to see how their games play out over the course of this week. Some of these teams have harder matches still to come than others as well. Kaizi especially have very difficult matches ahead of them. So this is a big one for NV because the Freak of Freaks are a team that are also battling for playoff spots. More about that in a little bit, though, because this is 3 racks of Maru versus a Roach Roaring of Armani, so action is going to be kicking off here pretty soon. This is Pride of Altaris, and it is a massive map, and Maru opts to go for the 3 rack, so it's a huge map, and yet Maru's like, okay, I'm going to go for an aggressive setup, and Armani's building roaches, which is just so unexpected on this map as well. He's hoping to catch Maru completely unprepared, when Maru's actually just building a ton of units, and if he gets any idea that these roaches are coming across the map, he is going to be able to get himself a Marauder or 2, and then this really is just going to be a simple hold. I don't think, really, you're going to get anything done here as Armani, in fact. I actually think this is that bad for you, that you're just running your units into their death already. That's going to be kind of brutal, honestly. I don't know what you really do to fix that right now. I think this is going to be a little bit of a tough situation. I guess we'll see what happens over the next few moments then, as this does get settled down and ready to go. Roaches show up. There's just so many Marines. There's just no way you're going to bust through this as Armani. So, yeah, it's just way too many units when you play a 3 rack. This sort of attack isn't meant to play against 3 racks. This sort of attack plays on the idea that the Terran is usually building Hellions at this point in the game, very few bio units. Obviously, when that then doesn't happen, you fall into trouble pretty quickly, and that's just exactly what we're seeing. So Armani opening not good. Now, will the roaches help him against the Stim Combat Shield push? I mean, yes, you'll already have some roaches, but I mean, it's going to be kind of rough still, because you've built those roaches super early in the game, so you're definitely going to be behind from where you want to be. Now, that is also going to be a question mark. So kind of intrigued as to where that really goes then as these Marines continue across. Going to make their way all the way across here, and, well, there's an overload they can grab right away. Taking away at that a little bit. Just going to be seeing the overload surviving. And for now, the Roach is enough to push Maru back. He will just get some more Marauders. He's getting his concussive shells as well. So a few things just being added on that should help him out here as time passes by. Marines are going to get here and put a bit more damage on this overload, but that one again to the high ground and will survive for the moment. We're just going to be seeing our Bioforce again settling down for Maru in the center of the map. Now, Roach Ravager from Armani out around the bottom side as well. Going to see a couple of evolution chambers coming up on the natural also. And just getting that ready to go as we have our army just kind of poised and figuring out exactly again what it wants to do next. Maru's army just been building up this entire time. As an army supply lead against Roaches, that's a pretty bad sign. As we start moving up this ramp, we'll get creep chambers. I think this is a fight you commit to as Maru. There's just so much bio here. I think this is a good trade for you. And it's, yeah, I mean, you just got the Marauder count against the Roaches as well, so they're going to take a ton of damage. Yeah, I think you absolutely want this fight. You take it, you trade out with the Queens as well now. He's actually just going to win the game off this, is he? He gets every Ravager, the Queens go down, and the drones are still being pulled in. There's a few Roaches left over, and I guess the bio units will trade with those. If nothing else, it's been a good trade, because now you don't have any units left as Armani. Without any units remaining, obviously, that's generally troubling as well. So something else to be worried about is these Marines will get a few drones now. This is very much so a case of Maru's build was very normal, whereas Armani really cut into his build to make those initial Roaches that never did anything. And because he just never did anything with those initial Roaches, that's just enough of an investment to put him significantly behind when the larger fights come around. And that's basically what we've seen here, as now Maru, well, he's got +1 as well, so he's got that in his favor as these trades will continue also. And yes, this would seem to look pretty good right now for our Terran player, who will trade for a couple more Ravagers. Ravagers, high-cost units. They're just expensive, and he just picks off a bunch of them right away there. Just again keeping this game very much so in his control. Yeah. Alright, well, we're just going to be seeing our Bioforces still coming through. The Roach Ravager Queen setting up a little bit as well, trying to fight this off. Corrosive Battle lands onto a couple medevacs, or tries to at least. But the Siege Tank supporting this Maru will just keep up the pressure. Yes, a long map. Yes, the reinforcements distance is definitely going to be something of a problem, but as of right now, it's looking good enough for Maru to just keep on pressuring. He's just got enough, and okay, at the moment he has to back away, but, you know, the work account's almost even. Armani is building only Roaches, and he's not teching up beyond that. That's a big issue for sure. These are all problems for Armani as time passes by at the moment, basically, so yeah, looking rough, guys, looking rough as our Bio Army continues through again, chasing down the Roach Ravager. I mean, now that Armani's trying to be aggressive, he faces the same issue. It's a long map. It takes a long time to get across to the other side. By the time you get there, the Terran has a lot more units ready to help defend, and I don't think Armani was exactly in the best position in the first place anyway, but he gave it a go anyway, and again, like I say, just didn't quite work out as now he continued down the bottom side one more time. Oh, wow. Oh, great, well, kind of a fun first game just for the fact that the build orders were so off. Armani will get map pick for map number 2, but of course, he's already had Pride of Altaris. This is meant to be, in my eyes, the best Zerg map in the map pool, so you know, these couple tanks on siege, and they're going to lift up and pull back a little bit. I mean, again, Armani's kind of holding on. He's got the unit count to kind of keep the pressure up, you know, to a good level, and that's going well for him. I mean, a couple more bios, and the medevacs dodge out the way. Just going to see this Bioforce still trying to trade out with our Roach Ravager. He is still trying to take whatever fight possible. Armani just about 20 supply up at the moment. Just going to be seeing a stim into the right-hand side. Again, it's just all Roaches, though, and that's my big issue, right? If this was just anything but Roaches, then I'd feel a little bit more confident, maybe even worried for Maru. But actually, because it's just Roaches, I'm a bit like, well, do we really get concerned about that? I don't think we should. Roaches on their own are not that great, let's face it. And, yeah, okay, well, it's obviously not just Roaches, it's Roach Ravager. Let's see how this goes, as Maru has to lift up a little bit. Tanks were not sieged. Now some Lings run by into his base at the same time, so a bit of multi-prong action from Armani, picking off some reinforcements. He's pushed away in the center for now. Maybe he is getting a bit of momentum going here, is Maru. Maybe being just a little bit reckless. Would love to see the fight happening on the right-hand side, as I believe Maru's just destroyed, yep, a whole chunk of this. Sorry, guys, not observing the day, so when I'm shouting to see something, it's just hoping that the observer takes us over there. We all make those mistakes when observing it happens, but yeah, that's Maru actually picking up a lot of units there, I guess, just with the tanks finally getting set up properly rather than being unsieged. And obviously just kind of flying up around basically everything is just putting yourself in a bit of a better position there as, you know, as Maru compared to what it was before. Tanks sieging up now. Can he keep those tanks away from the Ravager? I really feel like there's not enough bio. I really feel like, again, maybe this is a case of Maru getting too aggressive too quickly, just wanting to constantly bring the fight to Armani when it's not necessary. Another siege tank going down, and again, Maru's keeping the supplies similar, but it's one of those scenarios where honestly just letting each other max out favors the Terran player anyway. Maybe he's just very happy to fight like this, knowing that he's got this going over time, and that if he just keeps doing this, then, yeah, okay, eventually he's going to end up in a position where he can say, look, you know, you're not able to tech up because I've been pressuring, where maybe if he lets off the pressure and lets Armani have a chance, basically, then maybe then you can say, oh, wow, like, actually, that's kind of, you know, now I can tech up, now I can get a lurk den down, now I can look towards my future in this game, and maybe try and make something else happen, right? Do something a little bit different to what was happening before. Here we go with the Ling Roach Ravager moving in again. Planetary Force on the gold. I wanted to mention that when Maru was building it in location. He actually built that on location before, which is kind of impressive. But the planetary helping in the high ground and the bio just being spread out and reinforcements not arriving anytime soon. Armani attacks into a fight he cannot win, and Maru is going to end up with the first map of this best of 7 for Team NV. Getting the first point on the board. GG's for Maru. Well played so far. Alright, good stuff from Maru. Map 2 coming up. We'll see what Armani picks for this second map. For the later games, they definitely starts to get out of control. Maru's late game has been looking brilliant lately, though, so I suppose we will see. As we kick this off, top right-hand side from Team NV will be our blue Terran player. It is Maru. Yeah, Maru's been playing so well lately, guys. I mean, you know, it's actually, I think, been a long time since we've seen Maru play as well as he's playing right now. You know, we've always known Maru's good, right? But I really feel like right now it's like, holy wowzers, you know? He is like really, really good. And that's very exciting to see. Sorry, I have the wrong bracket link on. Let me just fix that, guys. In amongst fixing some other commands earlier, I forgot to change the bracket command. There you go. Apologies. Sorry if you got timed out trying to help people. It's just WardiBot trying to protect us from link spam. It's meant to let Liquipedia links come through, but I think at one point it was broken, so maybe I edited it a bit. And now it's obviously not working properly, so sorry for that. A lot of people asking what Cyril's score is. Cyril isn't in the World Team League, guys, so he doesn't get a hexagon in scores. He doesn't get a hexagon in scores, unfortunately. Obviously, Ents don't have enough players to play in the World Team League. And it's a strict rule that you're not allowed mercenaries or like combinations of teams. You must be your own standalone team to compete in this event. So yeah, Ents do not participate because of that. I want to see Beyond vs. Clan. That's coming up tomorrow. In the Shopify Rebellion versus Team Liquid matchup. That's the start of the series tomorrow. This is why we can't cover next tomorrow either, because tomorrow's matchup is just amazing. Well, you know, the one we would miss, right? It's so frustrating to have great events and have them just straight up overlap. It's not even like it's like a slight overlap. It's like they straight up start at the exact same time. Like, what is that? Insanity. Maybe we're going to trade with a few lings and so on. Bit of back and forth here to start us off. What's up, Wardy Dad on the Prime for the 60 months of 5 years. Wardy Dad on the hype train, guys. Reactor coming through as Maru just gets himself set up. Armani will have himself his 3 bases here to begin with as well, and from there we move onwards basically. On we go and getting set to make this happen. See what's gonna be coming up next. See what comes on through as we get ourselves underway into this. It'll be a fun game, obviously, when Armani gets to pick his map and maybe this time doesn't try and do anything weird right away to catch Maru off guard. Maybe we get just a bit of a more straight-up game right from the get-go, and, you know, I'm kind of a fan of that right now. I can get behind it. And just a little bit straight-up, standard, bit of fun. Yeah, I'm all about that. Let's do it. Let's have at it. Well, Hellions and the Reaper just poking around, not really going to find anything just yet. Baneling Nest is on the way up as well, so just continuing to bring that through. As we do have our starport just coming up, and obviously the Marines getting their stim packs and everything just looking pretty decent at the moment as we get the Baneling Nest coming through, and with that Baneling Nest coming through, we obviously have some Banes available, but otherwise still waiting to see what Armani's first choice attack is. It's just going to be the Lair. I guess if it was going to be Evo Chambers, we would have seen them already go down, because you would have had to get the Evo Chambers earlier than now to then be able to start upgrades at a reasonable timing, so yeah, everything for the moment just, I suppose, as expected. The Hellions will show up and just get a drone off the edge here and just finding little bits of damage, and that's obviously what's so great when you get Maru playing TvZ. He looks for the little bits of damage, he looks for the little things, and really tries to get everything he can out of every moment. Always trying to make the most of it as we do have our third orbital moving into position, so already taking advantage of that. Lings wanting to run on forward. The Hellions trying to escape away, knowing the Lings have a little bit of a jump on them. Gets a turn in direction, does lose a Reaper, now realizes he can actually turn this onto the Zerglings. Turned around and chased a few of them down. You can see immediately Armani was like, uh-oh, this is turning bad for me, and he was like, I'm out of here, checking out. It was kind of funny. Well, finally getting rid of this Overlord here as well, as Armani ends up supply blocked off that. 2 Overlords on the way, but not ready yet. So big supply block. And Maru is just now starting to put on some medevac pressure, so not really when you want to be caught up without being able to build units properly. That's going to be a little bit rough. There's our 2 medevacs. Continuing down to the bottom side. It's going to be seeing these Marines unloading, the Hellions joining up as well. In we stim. This bottom side hatchery already in some trouble. Clean Bane wanting to maybe come in and make a play on the Marines and the Hellions here. The hatchery gets cancelled. The drone goes down. A Queen will fall. We continue to apply just a little bit of pressure here at first and keep this going at the moment. We're just going to be pressing forward and again getting rid of a few more Crypt Teamers. I like it, man. We're just already getting some very good trades. I mean, anytime you're getting rid of that 4th base is always good for you as well. Already, I want to say that Armani's just in a world of trouble here, and that's a little sad because it feels like this game is barely started, but that's just the way this is. Maru puts on such good pressure, you're not quite ready for the first wave, and it just goes wrong and wrong and wrong. Becomes a little bit rough for sure. Just going to be seeing our upgrades then, our melee upgrades continuing through, so they will continue up as well right now, and that's something at least which will be even, more or less. I mean, they're not finished right away, so there's a slight 1-1 timing here for Maru. But at least they're not that far off, right? So you should get them in a reasonable amount of time still. As these few Marines stem forward, and they're going to get rid of a couple Crypt Tumors right away. And here comes this army around the left-hand side, so making its way into position. A little bit more Crypt spread being cleaned out right now. Here comes the Ling Bane, thinking about making a move forward, but the Marines and the tanks pulling back just a little bit. Well, CV's going down, so small counterattack happening, but you need to defend the fourth base. You can't just give this up as Armani. I want to believe those Lings are setting up for a flank, but it looks like they're actually going to counterattack. Are you going to give it your fourth base a second time, though? I mean, it's bad enough losing it the first time. Now you've lost it twice? I don't think you really recover from that. The Mutas are here, and with the Mutas and the Lings counterattacking, okay, it's a bit of danger. Missile turrets on up, but there's honestly a good enough Marine count to just fight this off. Yeah, you're going to have to come and deal with this as Maru, but you've done all the damage to put Armani in a difficult position anyway, where he needs to be dealing damage, so not immediately end of the world as the stream froze up there for a second. That's on my end, guys, not on yours, just in case you're wondering. Just going to be seeing a couple of SCVs being picked away, and Marines do get a Mutalisk on the top side as well, so yeah, just shaving off units, right, making this more and more difficult for his opponent. And Armani, yeah, still up a little bit of supply, but I mean, I feel like this is one of those games where Armani is going to be like hard stuck on Mutiling Bane for a while. He is going to put the Infestation Pit down, so actually he is going to start moving forward, but I guess we'll see if he can make it work, because it really feels like with what Maru has done, there should definitely be opportunities for him to go across the map and apply some pressure if you tech up like this as Armani. So I guess we'll see if that becomes true here. Mutas are heading up to the north side and just hanging around. All T2 upgrades, drilling claws, all of that continuing up as well at the moment. As we get ourselves settled in, the Mutas are going to go once again towards the top right and try and put some pressure on. Marines are going to sit around the siege tank there and hold and defend. Knowing that the Mutas are out, Maru's really just kind of bunkered up a little bit back at home. He's just sort of saying, yeah, you know what, let's just kind of settle this down, let's just kind of chill. He did this against Rogue when I was casting a series of him the other day. I think it actually just went up on YouTube yesterday, which is why it's fresh in my mind, because I rewatched a little bit of it, and yeah, it was really kind of impressive, because, you know, against Mutas, a lot of the time the best defense against Mutas is an offense, because then you can keep the Mutas back at home defending and clearing up. Once the Mutas get to control your bases, it's problematic, but yeah, against Rogue, he just slowed it down and said, right, Mutas are out, let's get super defensive, let's build up and, you know, basically make the Mutas useless. I'm not afraid of the late game. So yeah, you do whatever you want with the Mutas, you won't find any damage, and then we go late game, and I'm very happy to go there, because you've had to go via Mutas, which are not good late game. And hence that's then very good for Maru and the way that he was set up. It was very weird, but it worked wonders. And once he decided to attack, it was like, oh my goodness, he has just got so much stuff. This missile turrets are very effective so far. Yeah, they're all going to start going down, but they actually got a bunch of Mutalisk kills, and this one survives a little bit longer as well. Again, another Muta kill. Okay, 10, 11 workers go down, but geez, the Mutalisk count just shrunk a lot more than I think Armani was initially banking on. It went down pretty heavily, honestly. Oh, just going to be seeing that Ling Bane back up the top side and taking a bit of position on the map. Maru is still maxed out, and there's the Ultralisk Cavern on the way. So to be fair, Armani not stuck on the Ling Bane meter like I initially suggested. I said he might get stuck on it, but he did find his way up to Ultras quite easily. Maru slowed the game down rather than being aggressive, so didn't punish that attempt to go Infestation Pit and, you know, into the hive essentially. Let's see, Mutiling Bane going to make a roll up here, as we do see the Widow Mines have been cleared out. Maru just has nothing to do but to split. No mines to help him as the first couple got taken down. Honestly, he stays ahead in supply during it, so that means it's a decent trade. despite not having any major splash damage going in his favor, which that part I find actually very surprising. I thought that was going to be worse for him, but well, Maru pulls off some Maru magic once again. Happens a lot of the time, honestly. Just going to see our Bio Army pulling back up the top. Again, Maru just content to take bases, expand, take control of this map, and just keep on going. Taking away at a good amount of the creep spread here as well, so a lot of these creep teamers going down at the moment. Picking away at a lot of that and getting clear in the pathway. Honestly, this is where the map size comes into play, right? We talked about it earlier, where if the game just go long, the size of this map definitely helps the Zerg out, and, you know, the game has gone long, but again, does Maru really care? Is Maru bothered by the fact that this is a late game on a large map? Because it kind of feels like I say, he kind of played for this, right? You know, he was very happy to let this go here. He wasn't exactly in a hurried up situation. He wasn't forced here. He very much said, hey, I'm going to stop pressuring. I'm going to fall back. And it's kind of funny because last game he was very happy to just go, go, go. And this game he's like, no, you know what? Time to fall back. Time to chill out. We've done our jobs here so far. Let's just, you know, take a breather and, you know, let this game kind of move on. And last game was just like, go, go, go. So that comparison was kind of interesting. There's a few Lings run up and these couple of Thors actually kind of on their own. Ling Ultra going to start running in. Yep, sometimes they make some amusing sounds when they die, the Marauders on the Chinese client. That was one of them. That was a real yelp. That was pretty amazing, actually. I'm not going to lie. That was really something. that was really something. Jeez, that... always makes you laugh a little bit. Alright, well, back to being focused and paying attention to things. Yeah, Bio Army's just pulling back. Everything just getting set up a little bit here, guys, and on we go, basically, waiting for the next step of all of this. As obviously it is still Armani looking to be aggressive. Maru getting up into Ghost. A couple of Widow Mines here initially. Try and do something. Ghost already lining up a snipe. Ping ping. Ultra brought to low HP already. It's obviously gonna suck a little bit as well, so low HP Ultra. That's gonna be seen Ghosts coming back around the right hand side as the mutas head on up to the top side as well. He goes off on a Overseer. That's not bad. You know, I kind of hated on these mutas and said maybe they wouldn't give you very much, but actually they've been pretty okay. Now we're going to see a big attack on this right side. The Ultras go down immediately. These Banes are going to get the Planetary Fortress. There's a new base to basically overtake that. Armani supply plummets. Yes, he's got a bank to rebuild with, though. Let's see how the rebuild goes as he kills off 24 SCVs. Maru will re-expand over to the right-hand side. Into the main we go with these mutas, as they will try to deal a little bit more damage. You see a few more snipes coming down again. Any kind of efficiency you can find is definitely going to be worth it. It's just going to be seeing mutas continuing down the right. Couple missile turrets again firing and getting some damage done. Continue to do pretty well. I mean, 46 SCVs. Maru's army's getting to that point where it is huge. And 11 new mutas on the way. That part I'm a little surprised about, I suppose. But I guess if you feel like the mutas are finding value for you, then you keep going for them. I just feel like at this stage you don't really find value with them. And that's kind of where you need to start looking for something else, but each to their own. Yeah, I'm just kind of on this kind of impression right now that, you know, I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's not going badly, right? It's not going that bad. It's going okay. Going kind of decent, but it is kind of scary because Armani just has a lot of control of the map. But then, is it kind of scary that you're still just on Ling Bane Muta Ultra and you just have to keep on trying to bust Maru, who has base after base to land, and he's going to trade well. He's already traded 9,000 resources lost better, right? So, yeah, it's going to be rough for Armani, I think, overall. Yeah, a little bit of bias because I'm going to favor Maru in a longer, drawn-out game, but honestly, just in kind of the situation anyway, I'd say Yes, Zergs can win from this position, but a Terran who wanted to be here typically knows what he's doing, and so that's very good. This is nice. 11 SCVs dying to the top side. That's really important. And this is where the mutas are finding some value. I mean, a few snipes going down, though, so it's not like it was for free. And again, there's another base to replace there right away. The SCV kills are maybe a little bit more meaningful. Constantly denying that economy is something which will eventually wear on Maru. If you can keep it up and keep the amount of units coming out to kind of keep it going, right? Then eventually Maru's like, well, I can't mine comfortably. You know, he's never got a bank here. There's moments like this where you just get some snipes and all of a sudden, boom, you know, you're benefiting by a whole bunch. It's moments like that where I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting, huh? Because all of a sudden, it's very expensive for Armani to get in there and try and deal some damage, and that's the part of this which I'm a little bit more concerned about, a little bit more worried about in general. Bane's rolling in, another planetary force going down against the right idea from Armani, giving up units to take down economy. That is how you want to be playing this. This is the right plan. It's just, is it going to be enough against a Maru who is seemingly, again, confident in this late game? That's what we're here to find out. That's what we're here to have decided for us in the next little while. Armani now launches an attack to the 12 o'clock. This planetary fortress in some trouble. Banes will just roll into it. Planetary fortress is going to melt, and that will go down. Going to be seeing the Bioforce actually get rid of a little bit of the creep spread here. A couple of Liberators set up as well. Remember that Maru's army supply is massive because he's got so few workers. It's 147 army supply currently on the map. That's a hell of a lot of army, let me tell you that much, guys. So there's a lot of army supply on the map, and that means that any fight from Armani is just going to be very ineffective because of the fact that Maru just has so much to trade with as well. So another factor that kind of leans more so into Maru's favor than Armani's. Again, it's a very common situation to have happen in this TvZ late game, but it's one of the reasons that TvZ late game can work for the Terrans like this. Because again, it helps you just find the mega efficiency. Now 13,000 resources difference in what's being lost this game as these Banes come rolling in, and that's horrible trades. Oh my god. What was that? He just rolled all these Banelings into like Marauders and stuff. That was horrible. Absolutely not what you're looking for. That could not have gone... Actually, would it be impressive if you found a worse engagement than that. Some drones going down as Liberators set up across the map, and Maru's putting pressure of his own on. Armani's got 5,000 minerals, but only 600 gas, and, well, he starts up 48 lings. That's not even going to re-max him right away. Definitely feels like we're getting into some complications here. Definitely feels like times are getting tough. We're going to be seeing the Ghost line up some snipes onto the Mutalisks. And once again, the mutas going down, and Armani can't afford to rebuild the mutas. I do think initially when he was starting to rebuild mutas, I wanted to believe, I wanted to say, yeah, okay, you know, it's decent, it's reasonable, but I really don't think it was. I understand that they were like a big part of being able to harass here and there and put damage out, but I really just don't feel like they did enough for how much they cost him in the end. Now he's going to rebuild Corruptors, but he's down on like 100-ish supply. 57 mutas lost this game. So you're talking about like 12,000, basically, what, like 25% of the resources lost in this game for Armani was in mutas. That's kind of crazy. Don't get me wrong, they definitely had their moments, and they definitely had moments where they looked very good, just, I think overall not really justifiable for how many more he built past their prime. Very interesting TvT, right? And I mean, TvTs like this are always interesting. There's a lot of points that can go differently and can be discussed as good or bad. Right now, Maru's just going to line up snipes on every single Corruptor, so none of them are going to get out of here alive. We know that for sure. And yeah, this is pretty much just going to be it. The EMPs have been good, the snipes have been good. There's a few Banes here. Maru will split slightly, and that's pretty much it. Armani doesn't have much left over. These Corruptors continue to be sniped on down. There's a Thor that wants to try and tank some Baneling shots, while the Bane's going to roll into Marauders, and we saw before how that just doesn't quite work. Armani tried to dance in the late game with Maru, but Maru is just too freaking good, man. He is looking good lately, and yeah, I honestly didn't feel concerned for him at all in this series, because he's decided when he wanted to slow the game down and take it into a later game. He decided when that was going to happen, and if Maru's making the decisions, then I completely trust in Maru's decisions, right? And yeah, GG's. That is going to be Maru.